guys, welcome to our second week of our 6-week series. So glad to have you here. If you're not in my 6-week series private class and you've just found this video, welcome to you as well. So glad to have you, and family and friends and anyone else who's watching, really glad to have you here. This class is part of mine. I'm Cheryl King. This is Cherylkingyoga, and this is for a private class that I've been teaching in my home studio. So this is our second week series, and the focus for our class today is going to be chest and shoulders, getting a little bit into the neck. Should feel really great, and I can hear that Blue King is traveling down the stairs, so she may be coming in and out. She's a real doga. All right. So let's get started. You're not going to need any props today. You might, if you have a yoga mat, great, grab that. If you could have some kind of a little blanket, I have just a yoga blanket that I have folded up to sit up high, kind of raise up the hips, that can help. But let me go ahead and offer this up as well. I teach this class generally in chairs, right? We start in chairs, or for you at home, maybe sitting on the edge of your sofa or a bench, something like that. You don't need to be on the floor to do this. In fact, for about the first 20 minutes, you might really enjoy sitting in the chair. So, because we are going to be sitting for a long time, and if this isn't comfortable for you, get the chair. Right, really good. But let me just give you this little bit of talk about the shape in the chair. Is come to the front edge of the chair with your bum, right? Plant the feet solidly on the floor, and just make sure that you're not leaning back in the chair, right? We want the spine to hold us up, so just like we do sitting on the floor. All right. So everyone find your shape, whatever that is. And bring the hands to the lap wherever you are. Let the eyes shut down. And we'll begin to really settle in. Finding gratitude for our ability to meet in this way, online. Even as we feel sadness at being separated during this healthcare crisis. Maybe bringing an open palm to heart center and just giving a little bit of even circling, if you'd like, feeling into your own emotions about this time that we're all living through together. For the next several minutes here, this class is about an hour long. Seeing what you can do to be present, to be in this moment here with me, with whoever else is watching the video, taking this time to connect with one another, with ourselves in our yoga practice. So good for you for doing the hardest part, getting here. Let's bring the palms together at heart center and lift the elbows. And set an intention for this class, maybe for your day, something you'd like to draw into your day, some aspect of you you'd really like to highlight, your highest self maybe humor, maybe you need some joy, some peace, whatever that is. Go ahead and highlight that and begin to overlay that on your breath so that you begin to breathe it in and breathe it out. begin to open the eyes. Just let them flutter open. Finding ourselves here, palms together, Anjali Mudra. Let's really lift the elbows and allow the collarbones to reach wide left and right. Spreading the fingers apart, maybe feeling the flesh between fingers opening up. Really engaging all of the arms. Maybe you feel this in the chest. And let's dial the fingers forward. Fingers are splayed open, thumbs, fingers pressing in. Another breath or two here. And then as possible, dialing the fingers down-ish. Maybe rocking the chin left and right a bit across the chest as we just barely begin to open up neck and shoulders. And then set the skull at the tippy top of the spine. Roll the hands back through center all the way back up, and we'll circle them. Backs of hands circling around. We'll circle this way a few times. And then the other direction. Right. Hands return to the lap. Maybe this time palms are up. We're going to do a little bit of pranayama, a little breathing exercise here. So I'll invite you to find your spine nice and long, tailbone dropping down, back of skull is lifting. So the two end points of the spine, tailbone is like it's heavy and it's dropping down. Back of skull, behind the mouth is the top of the spine, lifts up. And this might draw the chin in toward the throat just slightly. And then we'll breathe into the chest 360 degrees. So front side, underarm side, back side of the chest, all inflating with the inhale. And as we exhale, we'll draw the navel in toward the spine and lift the back of the skull away from the neck. So with each in-breath, we inflate at the chest and lengthen this part of the spine. With the exhale, we draw the navel in, lengthening lumbar spine, and lift the back of the skull, lengthening cervical spine. Inhale into the chest, 360. Exhale, navel, back of skull. Inhale, chest. Exhale, here at the navel, lifting back of skull. It's a lot of cues. It's awkward if you're not used to it. We began this in the first week. So just continuing on with that. And once you kind of begin to get the rhythm, breathing into the chest, exhaling, brightening up the abdomen, lifting the back of the skull. Just let yourself go with this. We're going to do about 10, 15, maybe even 20 breaths like this. Maybe shut your eyes down. I have mine closed. It's easier for me to concentrate on the breath with the eyelids dropped down. And let yourself ease up. Not so much effort, but just finding that little bit of expansion all around in the chest with the inhale, and that very light little brightening abdominal wall at the exhale, and the lift of the back of the skull. And as the body really begins to understand and maybe even default into this kind of breath when you take up Sukhasana or a nice seated posture, just allowing yourself to soften here, let the skin of the face soften, check in with your feet. Make Make sure they're nice and at ease. Right hand to our left collar. And with the pads, just begin massaging under the collar, around the collar, and let the head go. This is a time to really feel into opening up this part, upper left quadrant. Come on, Blue. Come here, Bob. Small circles, opening up all the way from sternum to the top of the arm, just circling under the collarbone, over the collarbone. And then maybe begin with the palm or heel of the hand and expanding out to the top of the shoulder, down below, and still addressing this same area from sternum to the outside of the ribs, coming all the way down to the lowest part of the ribs, all under the arm, up into the shoulder here, back side. Maybe even swimming the right hand around to begin really addressing the ribs on the left side. So all the while, the head could be just very stiff here, this cervical spine. Please try to let it go. This is going to give you a lot more benefit in the spine, in the collar opening up. And then we'll all meet at the top of the left arm and begin massaging down the arm. Just a nice, sense of touch coming below the elbow, down into the forearm, the wrist. Right? And get all of the hand, palm, back side of the hand, each of the fingers and thumbs, really addressing the full finger and thumb. And then using this right hand, like it's a big sweeping paintbrush, we're going to paint up the arm. Maybe up the front side and then the underside. Just see what you can do to touch each part, the underarm, coming down the ribs, all the places we touched, from the top of the shoulder all the way down this left side of the sternum, just moving around the breast, around to the bottom side of the ribs, and then the back side, however you're addressing that. Maybe you reach under your left arm, or maybe you swim the arm around, just depending on where you have the most ability to move. Really just painting down. And then come to stillness. Right palm is up, left palm is up. And begin to really feel into this left upper quadrant, from hand, arm, shoulder, all of the ribs, front and back. And feel this as it compares to the right side. Just taking a moment here. And now coming back to that breath, breathing into the chest, 360 degrees. Exhale, navel to spine, lifting back of skull. Take a couple of breaths here. And then left hand finds its way to right collar. And we'll begin that same process, circling just with the pads of the fingers, coming across. However you like to do it, you've experimented now. So feeling in a little bit of circling, already beginning to really let the head and neck be part of this. And it's all connected. Circling in, and then beginning to broaden the circle, widen the circle, down towards toward the breast and then below, getting to all the little riblets, right into the sternum and all the way around, underarm side of ribs, the place we very rarely address, and then back side as well, just however you're able to reach it. All the way into the spine. And then we'll all meet with left hand at right shoulder and begin that massage down the arm. Forearm, wrist, down into the hand, and each of the fingers. Getting a lot of pop on the fingers. All right, and then left hand becomes a paintbrush. We're going to paint up the arm. Front side, back side, underarm side, front side, ribs to sternum, back side from the shoulder all the way down into the spine, down. And we've arrived. Again, just pausing here to take a breath, feel in. Let's take a twist. The hands are going to reach behind the ears and lift up toward the sky, really stretching side seams of the body, even stretching one arm at a time. Right arm lifts up. See if you can feel this from hip all the way to fingertips. Brighten up the whole side seam. And then left side stretches, hip to fingertips, bright. And then lifting both arms, both sides opening. We'll all turn to the right. Left hand comes to right thigh. Right hand can just come maybe back to your hip. And find yourself in this little bit of a twist. Inhaling into the chest, 360. Right, let the shoulder blades drop down the back. And then exhaling, drawing the navel to spine, lifting the back of the skull. On your next exhale, drop the chin to the throat, and we'll draw the chin over toward that right shoulder, and even looking over the right shoulder, like a lady in a painting. Exhale the chin down across the chest, over to the left shoulder, and again looking back over. Nice for the neck. Feeling in, find the breath in the chest. Exhaling navel to spine. Skin of the face stays soft. And then exhale the chin back toward the center of the chest. We'll bring the chin in toward the throat and see what you can do to set the skull just at the tippy top of the spine. With your next exhale, roll yourself forward. Beautiful. Other direction. Here come the hands, reaching for the ears and up to the sky. Little stretch, right arm, left arm, both arms really reaching up. We'll turn to the left. Right hand to left thigh, left hand finds the seat of the chair, whatever you're sitting on, the back of the floor behind your hip. And then find your breath. Inhaling into the chest. That might help remind you to slide the shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, navel to spine, lifting the back of the skull. Feel your spine grow tall as you breathe. With your next exhale, drop your chin to your chest and roll the chin over the left shoulder and looking back over the left shoulder like a beautiful lady in a painting. exhale, chin across the chest, all the way over to right shoulder and looking back over. Exhale, the chin back to the center of the chest, and then draw the chin in toward the throat and roll it up to sit just at the tippy top of the spine. See if you can line up, head over heart, heart over pelvis. On your next exhale, you'll roll all torso, skull, tail, everything rolls back to the front. Let's switch the leg that's in front. And if you're sitting in the chair, just stay as you are, just rolling your feet around on the floor, taking a little moment here. All right. So we're going to come into a sort of a seated Ustrasana, a little bit of a camel pose, really opening chest, throat, shoulders here. So bringing hands to your lap, wherever your lap is, however you're shaped. And then with an inhale, filling up the chest, we'll draw the hands back toward the hip creases, feeling the shoulder blades roll in toward one another, right? Letting them drop down the back and toward one another. And then reaching the hands even further back behind the hips, maybe the back of the chair, right? Chest is nice and open. Shoulder blades are rolling toward one another. And with your next inhale, we're going to reach up with heart center, with chin, with throat, with gaze, up toward the sky. Big opening here. Breathing into the chest, 360, exhaling navel to spine. If you've gone so far that you're tweaking your neck, come back forward, right? But otherwise, staying in a nice, safe spot where you're getting this big stretch, really thinking about the heart reaching up for the sky. And then with your next exhale, navel to spine, go ahead and come all the way back with the skull. And then send the hands back down, down the thighs to rest. Lining up, head over heart, heart over pelvis. And come to stillness, maybe shutting down the eyes, just getting really quiet here, easing up the body, and find that breath. Breathe into the chest. Exhale, navel to spine, lifting back of skull. Another breath just like that. Inhale into chest. Exhale, navel reaches for spine, back of skull lifts. See what you can do to find ease here in the body, in the chest, in the shoulders. All right, we're going to go again. So with your next inhale, drawing the hands back toward the hip creases, and then reaching all the way behind the hips. Shoulder blades roll toward one another and down the back, and then lifting up, heart center reaches, throat reaches, chin reaches up. You can go to your edge, but just don't go where you're causing any pain in your neck. Find your breath once you've arrived. Breathing into chest, exhaling navel to spine, shifting back of skull. Can you soften the skin of the face? With your next exhale, we're going to roll the chin back in toward the throat. And then bring the hands back to hip creases and all the way back down. Back down the thighs. Find ease in your shoulders. Find ease in your breath as you breathe into the chest, 360, exhaling, navel to spine, lifting back of skull. So this part where we come to ease, this is the part where the magic really happens for me in my shoulder, this whole area, in the chest, in the shoulders, in the upper back chest, upper front of the chest. So just noticing, see what you can find. This is going to be our last one, so find your breath. Big inhale into the chest as you roll the hands back to the hip creases, all the way back behind you. Next inhale, gaze comes to your heart center as it lifts up. Right? And then gaze to the ceiling, throat to the ceiling, up we go. Shoulder blades rolling down the back and toward one another. Big, big opening for the chest. Notice where your mind goes. And with your next exhale, we'll roll the chin back toward the throat, all the way down. And then return hands to hip creases and back down. Right. Really nice. Let's drop right ear toward right shoulder. No pressing, just allowing it to drop. Maybe you reach the left hand out to the left. 45 degrees, just reaching out. And then return left hand. Imagining there's a little string at the top of the spine, right there at the back, where the top of the skull and the back of the skull meet. Allow on your inhale to lift, 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 back up. And now exhale, navel to spine, and keep lifting back of skull. Beautiful. Nice long spine. Left ear drops toward left shoulder. And maybe the right hand comes out, reaching out toward the corner, right corner of the room, low corner. And then return your hand to your lap. And again, the little string exists at the top of the skull where back and top meet. Let it lift, lift, lift as you inhale. And then once arrived, exhaling, navel to spine, lifting back of skull even further. Inhale into your chest and release. All right, a little bit of shoulder dance. If your legs are starting to bother you, send one leg out, right? Or consider getting up in the chair. This works great there. All right, move as you need. Ha. So we're going to shoulder dance. The arms can just be on the lap or hanging down by the sides of the chair. One shoulder comes forward, up, back, and the other shoulder gets into the dance. And the only thing you need to remember here is just to let the head go. See how far down into the body you can feel this in your ribs, neck, throat, chest, everyone involved. Find a nice place to pause. We're going to circle the other direction. So for this, you can make soft fists and bring the elbows over, or you can just let the arms hang. Doesn't matter, either way is good. See what you like. But really letting the head and the neck go here. Feel the back side of the ribs opening up. And then coming to stillness. This is the last bit of the shoulder dance. And this is really one shoulder at a time. So let's start with our right shoulder. It comes up, out, down, and in. We're circling out. All right, and then left shoulder, up, out, down, and in, like you're making circles out. And you're letting the neck and the head just sort of follow that shoulder. And you might notice this serpentine action you've got going from tail to crown, whole spine. involved here in the shoulder dance. You might feel the weightiness shift from right hip to left hip. The body, the spine, lubricated, all the little vertebrae, getting a little bath, a little bit of dance. Super deluxe. We'll come to stillness here. Hands this time, again, palms up and on the lap. So a little bit of work for the hands. We're going to inhale and stretch fingers and thumbs like big starfish, just as wide as they can go. See if you can feel the flesh between the fingers and thumbs stretch. Okay, so you're using that much energy. And then as you exhale, soft roll into a fist, thumbs on the outside, and even rolling the fists up toward the forearms. Inhale, stretching, stretch, stretch. Exhale, making soft fists and then rolling them up toward forearms. Inhale, starfish hands. Exhale, rolling up. Inhale, stretch, stretch, stretch. And exhale, rolling in. Just bringing love to the hands. Right? And especially the places that we don't normally think about, that flesh between fingers and thumbs. Exhaling in, inhaling out. And as you exhale, maybe even adding in that little bit of drawing navel to spine, lifting back of skull. As you inhale, filling the chest all around. Exhale, brightening up the abdomen, lifting the back of the skull. Inhale into the chest, all around. And this will be our last one. Exhale, rolling the palms together, rolling into a fist and bringing it up toward the forearms. All right, let's shake it out. Really give it a good shake. Hands to lap. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we're going to come to child's pose from here. So let me show you how to transition. Those of you sitting in the chair, just come onto the mat now. We're going to go ahead and get fully onto the mat. For those of you sitting cross-legged, bring the hands forward like all fours and let the feet come apart, and you'll come into tabletop, all fours, right? And then just shift yourself back into your child's pose. So for child's pose, we bring the big toes together. And I have my knees just a little more than hip width apart. You can have them as wide as the mat, as wide as you like, or as narrow. We're going to bring the tailbone back toward the heels, rounding the spine, and then bring the forehead toward the mat. And this is going to be different for everyone. So your tail may be sky high, that's fine, but not the forehead. We want the forehead to meet earth somehow, some way. So maybe you stack fists, maybe this reaches here, or you bring blocks or a mat or something to put under your forehead. And then let me encourage you to roll your forehead toward the hairline. And send your tail, wherever it is, up in the air or down, reaching toward the earth. The arms can come all the way around by the heels. Balasana, child's pose. Give your tail a little wag. Get comfortable here. And then find your breath. Breathing into the chest, 360. And now you can really feel the chest and the back side and underarm side. Feel it expand. As you exhale, navel to spine, right? And shifting back of skull away from neck. Inhale into the chest, the back side of the lungs inflate, underarm side. Exhaling, navel reaches up to spine. And the back of the skull shifts down toward the earth away from the neck.
All right, we're going to sweep the arms up and forward. They're going to come near the head. We're going to press palms into the earth and come up into tabletop. So I didn't come far enough. Hands want to be wrists under shoulders. And just like those starfish hands, fingers and thumbs are splayed open. Index fingers point toward the top of the mat. Bring the toes apart. Check in with that knees are under hips. I have to move mine in just a little bit. Here we are at tabletop. Press the tops of the feet into the earth. Claw the fingertips of your hands. And then find your breath. Breathing into the chest 360. Exhaling navel to spine, shifting back of skull away from neck. That means now to the wall in front of you. Right? Tail reaches for the wall behind you. And let's take a little bit of a wag of the tail. Send the tail all the way over to the left. Send the crown of the head to the left. Crescent shape. Stretch in the body. And then coming back through center, send tail to right, crown to right. And then both sides again, just on your own, feeling in. And we'll all meet at center, pressing tops of feet into the mat. We're going to press so much that we're going to lift the knees up and really engage the core here. Find your breath, inhaling into chest, exhale, drawing navel to spine, shifting back of skull. 3, 2, 1. Bring the knees back down. Give your tail a little wag. And then check in with your shoulders. So for many of us, a little whisper bend in the elbows can keep the chest nice and wide, those collars reaching left and right. Just checking in at your stance. All right, from here, we're going to curl toes under. Really curl using the hips to help spread the toes. Open up soles of feet. And then come back to your tabletop with your toes curled under. Find your breath. Inhale into chest. Exhale. Navel to spine. Shifting. All right. From here, tabletop, we're coming into downward facing dog. See how bent your knees are. Right now, you can just look back at your own knees. You can keep that much bend in your knees. Just begin to lift the tail up, press into the feet, and up you come into some kind of down dog. Maybe really nice bent knees. And let's make it really bouncy, right? Just feeling into your dog. Bring your weight mostly into your left foot, and then left hand, right hand, left foot, just circling around. Maybe circle the other direction. And then we'll begin to walk the dog. One heel at a time reaches for the mat. Make sure the head's hanging long. Spine is released down toward earth at the skull. Tail is reaching up towards sky at the other extreme. All right, and then maybe you straighten the legs, maybe not. You'll see where you're at this morning or whatever time you're watching. And we're going to inhale ourselves into plank pose. So plank is like a high push-up pose. Eyes of the elbows might turn forward-ish, maybe keeping that little bit of bend in the elbows, but reaching the heels back, or knees come to the earth, half plank. Right, but either way, keep the back inflated like the heart's reaching up through your shoulder blades. Yeah, maybe keeping that little bend in the elbows so you have a nice light plank. And then we'll do that same thing, rocking around. Left foot, right, left hand, right foot. And then maybe rocking the other way, just to feel around in your plank. All right, take a big inhale here. And then as you exhale, drop your knees, uncurl your toes, big toes come together, and reach back for extended arm balasana, child's pose. Forehead comes toward the earth. Inhale up, back into tabletop. Finding the all fours, right? Climb the fingertips, curl the toes under, coming into dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Inhale into plank pose or half plank. Knees come to the earth in half plank. Legs are razor sharp, heels reach for the back wall in the full plank. Knees drop for everyone, big toes come together. Exhale, balasana. Inhale, tabletop, little bend in the elbows. Curl the toes under as you exhale into downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, forward plank pose or half plank pose. Drop your knees, big toes meet, and rolling back, child's pose. So this time as you inhale, coming up, think about filling the chest, coming up to all fours. Curl the toes under, exhale, navel to spine, back of skull shifts away from neck. Inhale, coming forward, plank pose, or half plank, dropping knees. Now everyone drop knees, big toes together, exhale, balasana. Last one, inhaling up, coming up to all fours. Exhaling, curling the toes under. As you inhale, coming up into plank pose, sending the heels back, drop the knees, big toes together, last one, child's pose. Wag your tail here. And then bring the elbows, plant one elbow at a time right next to the skull. So right next to the top of the skull. And then palms come together, shark fin pose, little prayer hands, wag your tail. And if it's possible, walk the elbows forward, a little opening underarms. If the wrists would like a little love here, give them a little massage. And breathing into the chest, 360. Exhaling, navel to spine. And then send the hands forward. We're going to come into Sphinx arm, kind of forearms on the earth, palms open, a little bit of a tabletop, right? So bring the knees back in under the hips. And then as if there's a ball of yarn right here in front of you, you're going to take your nose and begin to scoot that ball of yarn forward. As you come all the way down onto the mat, hands have to come forward. Whoops. Stretching out, up, all the way down onto the belly. Let's lift one leg at a time to stretch out the hip creases. Maybe once again. And then bringing the hands, palms next to the chest and forehead to the earth, right? Again, looking for that hairline kind of opening in the back side of the spine. We're going to come into baby cobra. So no pressing down. We're just going to pull the hands back and lifting up the
Gaze stays slightly down, shoulder blades roll down the back as the elbows reach rather toward one another. And then as you exhale, rolling the hands back, rolling all the way back down. All 10 toenails press into the earth. Pubic bone lightly presses into the earth. Inhale, rolling the hands back. Lifting up, bringing the shoulder blades down the back. Nice opening, strengthening neck, upper back. Exhale, rolling back down. Inhale, drawing the hands backward. Rolling up with the chest, heart center reaching up, just like we did with Ustrasana. Heart center might reach forward. Toes down, toenails press into the mat, and down we come. Right hand is going to come straight out from heart center. I'm running into blankets, that's okay. Left hand stays right here at the chest, and turn the gaze to the left. And then we're going to fold up that the left knee, bend at the left knee, circle the left foot a few times. Let's circle at the knee, from the knee. A few times one direction and the other. And then checking out this right arm. You want to make sure that the right arm is coming pretty much straight out from heart center, and then even walking the fingers up toward that wall and above your head. Just a little, maybe 10 degrees above. All right, keeping the knee bent, and now the foot has come to stillness. We're going to press this left hand into the mat and begin to bring left foot across the body over to the right side, reaching for the wood floor, whatever's behind you. Really opening up this right shoulder. Once you get here, you might need to adjust, right? To find that nice opening in the right shoulder. Big opening. All right, and then preparing to come back, pressing into the left sole of foot, rolling all the way back around, extending left leg. Back to center. Both hands can come in near the chest. Give the tail a little wag. Actually, let's stack the hands under the forehead and roll the toes under, and just give yourself a little jiggle. All right, uncurl the toes. Lift the right foot, bending at the knee. Right hand can come palm down to the right side of the chest, and left arm can extend out. Now you know what's coming this time, so you might even want to walk those fingers out a little further, and then go ahead and walk them up 5-10 degrees. Right, turn the gaze to the right. We're circling the right foot. And circling from the knee. And then as the right foot begins to come to stillness, we'll press into the right hand and bring the right foot all the way over toward the wood floor. Big opening. Maybe you need to adjust your left shoulder. And this right hand on the earth can press to open up that left shoulder even further. One more breath here. And then pressing with that
right foot into the floor to turn yourself all the way back over, back onto the earth. Let's stack the hands again underneath the forehead. Curl the toes under, a little bit of jiggling. Just fully releasing, letting the face be soft. Come to stillness now. And see if you can find that breath. Inhaling into chest. Exhale, navel to spine, shifting back of skull away from neck. All right, if the toes are not long on the mat, tops of the feet on the mat, go ahead and get there. Uncurl the toes, and then bring the palms to the sides of the chest. So we're going to use tops of feet and palms of hands to press ourselves back to all fours. Here we go. Coming all the way back up, and finding that tabletop once again. So knees are right underneath the hips, and the wrists are under the shoulders. And take a little wag here. That same crescent shape, one side to the other. Just a few times, nice and easy. And then coming up fully into your tabletop. Inhale into the chest. Exhale, navel to spine. And give your head a little shake, no. No way, nice and easy. The gaze is down and just coming up side to side. And then next time you're at center, pause and begin to shake the head yes. Yes, I absolutely want to do this. Chin toward throat and then chin reaching forward. Maybe keeping a little whisper bend in the elbows. Back to tabletop. Active tabletop. So that means navel drawn into spine. Spine extending tail to back of skull. Let's all bring awareness into the left hand, really pressing it down into the earth. And then drawing the right hand up to the sky. Right hand comes down below. We're going to come to rest on the right shoulder and right cheek. Big breath into the chest. Exhale, navel to spine. And then finding relaxation here. Really give yourself some ease. See what you can release. Bring awareness back to that left hand and really press into the earth to draw the right arm all the way back up and down to the mat. Nice active tabletop. Wag the tail. All right, awareness comes into the right hand, really pressing down with the right hand. Left hand comes up toward the sky. And all the way down and under, threading the needle, coming to rest on left shoulder, left cheek. Finding your breath. And then also finding ease. What can you do to ease into this shape? Awareness into right hand, right palm presses down. Up comes the left hand, all the way back up to the sky and back down to the earth.
So that was a nice reversal of that shoulder opening we did on our bellies, right? Shoulders have been fully opened all the way around. Let's open the hips in that same way. So just drawing up and in. That kind of circling that we did with our weight in dog and in plank, we're going to do here now in tabletop. So press down tops of feet, claw the fingers here, and let's bring our weight into our right foot. Oops, right foot. Okay, so hips reach back toward right foot, weight there, and then over to the left foot, sort of circling around. Left hand circling forward, right hand. Oh, right foot, left hand, right hand. Noticing what you notice as you circle around. Finding a place to pause, we'll begin to circle the other direction. Right heel, left hand, right hand, left foot. If you don't have a super cushy mat, you might want a blanket over it, or at least a blanket underneath your knees. And then we'll all meet back here at tabletop. Let's bring the knees together, next door neighbors, and flip the feet up. If your knees are comfy here, if you have enough padding, go ahead and give the feet a little twist back and forth. And then let the feet drop to one side, let the hips come down, and you can find yourself back in some kind of easy pose, some kind of cross-legged position. I'm in Siddhasana, one leg draped in front of the other, but you can be in Sukhasana, feet under knees, or something else. All right. So hands come to the thighs. And by the way, you could also be back up on your chair for this. Let the tailbone drop, back of skull lift, finding that length in your spine. Always, always, always. We're going to bring right hand over to left thigh. And then left hand is going to cross over. I'd like the upper arms to cross over. Breasts kind of get in the way. Just a little rounding of the back to get over to the other side. And as we begin to do this, you're going to feel your tailbone's going to tuck under a little bit. We're just going to have to round a little to get into this. And then we're going to bring the arms up, backs of the hands reach for one another. With an inhale, lifting the hands, maybe a little up and out. Elbows come up, hands reach out. And now you can find your nice elongated spine, tail dropping, back of skull lifting. Inhale into the chest, exhale, navel to spine. Garudasana, arms. One more breath here. As you exhale, unfold the arms and bring them all the way back down. Back down to the lap. Drop the chin to the throat. Inhaling as you come up to the left shoulder. Exhale the chin across the chest and over to the right shoulder. Inhaling at the sides, exhaling across the chest. Taking the full breath to come across the chest, exhaling, taking the full breath to bring the chin up on each side. And then we'll all meet with the chin at the center of the chest and roll the chin in. Pause it the skull at the tippy top of the spine, finding that alignment, head over heart, heart over pelvis. All right, left arm reaches over to right thigh. Right arm reaches over to left. Attempting to cross the upper arms, and my back's really rounded here, right? Tucking your tail just a little bit, rounding the back. And then we'll bring the backs of the hands toward one another. And I didn't do this on the other side, but you can come into the full bind, palms meeting one another here, if that works for you. Everyone's different, so see what works for you. And then with an inhale, aligning the spine, lifting the elbows and hands up, maybe drawing them just a bit out, feeling this nice opening, upper back, underarms, inhaling into the chest, exhaling, drawing navel to spine, lifting back of skull. With your next exhale, we'll begin to unspool. Bring the arms all the way out and down. Little shoulder dance, one direction and the other. Maybe even out to the sides. We're coming down for Shavasana. This is our final pose. It's corpse pose. And it gives us the opportunity for the body and mind to absorb all that is transpired. Right? And if you have a blanket, you might want to put it over your hips, or you could roll it up under your knees. Maybe you have other delicious props, or actually if you have a chair or your sofa, you could put your legs up the chair. It's a nice way to end your practice. And just let the feet splay open. Hands can reach back to assist you down, or you can just roll yourself down. Allow the shoulder blades to be heavy on the earth, really melty and nice. Maybe you want to scoop the tailbone up and stretch it forward toward the knees, elongating spine, and then release it back down. I'm circling the ankles. In the head, a little rock left and right, maybe rolling shoulder blades in towards spine, elongating back of skull, away from neck. Palms turn up toward the sky. Allow whatever sounds you can make out to begin to bring you back in to the room, to the air on your skin. I don't know if you can hear the birds singing. Here it's been raining and birds are out now. It's stopped raining, they're singing. Blue snoring. Allow your feet to find the earth, maybe the blanket you have beneath. And then roll the knees in toward the chest, nice and easy. Maybe even rocking left and right a little bit. Roll yourself all the way over to one side, and then pressing yourself up to come all the way up to Sphinx. Maybe coming back to whatever intention you set for your practice today. Maybe you'll carry that with you through the rest of your day. It's been an honor to be with you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sad that we can't meet in person right now, but so glad that we can share our yoga journey in this way together. So let's look down at the palms of the hands. One hand representing self, one hand all the love of the universe. And we'll bring them together right where they belong. Just feel that energy. Draw it in toward heart center, maybe even lifting elbows. Tail drops, back of skull lifts. Bowing forehead to fingers. Symbolically yoking here the heart and mind in the practice of yoga. Namaste. Peace, health, joy. Find something to delight in today. Join me next time. This is Cherylkingyoga.com. You can look it up. There's other yoga classes as well, and some meditation. Thank you all. Have a great day.